Section 1. This section involves a phone conversation between a university student and a museum administrator. The student is gathering detailed information to organize a private tour for a group of history students. The conversation includes intricate details requiring careful listening to deduce the correct answers. But first you have time to go through questions 1 to 5.
Good morning, this is the Heritage Museum. You're speaking with Alice. How can I assist you?
Hi, Alice. My name is James, and I'm a university student. I'm organizing a private tour of the museum for a group of history students. I'd like to get some details, please.
Of course, James. How many people will be in the group?
We're expecting about 18 students and 2 faculty members.
Great. For a group that size, we can offer a guided tour at a flat rate of £150. That includes admission and a tour guide for up to 25 people.
That sounds good. Is there a specific time slot we should book for a group tour?
Typically, we recommend mornings for larger groups as the museum tends to be less crowded. However, we also offer afternoon slots if that works better for you.
I see. Do we need to pay in advance to confirm the booking?
Yes, we require a 50% deposit at the time of booking. The remaining amount can be paid on the day of the visit.
Before you hear the rest of conversation, you have time to go through questions 6 to 10.
Thank you for the information. Could you also tell me about the duration of the tour?
Certainly. Our standard guided tour lasts approximately 90 minutes, but if your group has specific interests, we can tailor the tour to focus on certain exhibits.
That's good to know. Are there any special exhibits running in November?
Yes, we'll have an exhibit on Victorian engineering, featuring original models and documents. It's quite popular, so we recommend visiting it early in the day.
Perfect. Lastly, are refreshments available on site?
We have a small cafe that offers light snacks and beverages, but for larger groups, we recommend pre-ordering from our catering menu.
Section 2. In this section, you'll hear a park ranger giving an informative talk about managing wildfire risks in national parks. The speaker uses technical terms and provides subtle clues, making it challenging to extract the correct information. But first you have time to go through questions 1 to 5.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's briefing on wildfire management in national parks. Wildfires, while a natural part of many ecosystems, have become increasingly severe due to climate change and human activity. One of our key strategies is controlled burning, also known as prescribed fire. This involves deliberately setting small fires under carefully monitored conditions. By burning dry vegetation, we reduce the risk of larger, uncontrollable wildfires. For example, last year, we conducted controlled burns over an area of 12,000 acres in Yosemite National Park. Another critical aspect is community education. Many fires are accidentally started by visitors, so we run awareness campaigns to inform people about fire safety. We also place restrictions during high-risk seasons, such as banning campfires in certain areas.
Before you hear the rest of conversation, you have time to go through questions 6 to 10.
Another effective tool is remote sensing technology. Using satellites and drones, we can monitor fire-prone areas in real time. This allows us to detect fires early and respond swiftly. In 2022, drones helped us spot and extinguish a small fire before it spread over 500 acres in Yellowstone National Park. Finally, collaboration is vital. We work with local fire departments, government agencies, and even international teams to share resources and expertise. For example, during the California wildfires last year, we received assistance from Canadian firefighters. This level of cooperation is essential for tackling large-scale emergencies.
Section 3. In this section, a group of researchers discusses designing an experiment to study the sleep patterns of university students. The conversation involves technical language and nuanced details, requiring careful attention to understand their points and answer the questions correctly. But first you have time to go through questions 1 to 5.
Alright everyone. Before we finalize the experiment design, let's go over our objectives. What are we trying to find out?
Primarily, we want to examine the correlation between screen time and sleep quality among university students.
Exactly. But let's not forget that we also need to consider other variables, like caffeine consumption. It could skew the results.
That's true. I suggest we include a pre-experiment survey to gather data on those factors.
Good idea. What about the sample size?
I'd recommend at least 100 participants to ensure statistical significance. We can recruit them through campus flyers and social media.
Sounds manageable. Should we divide them into groups based on their screen usage?
Yes, we can categorize them into 3 groups: low, moderate, and high screen time users.
Before you hear the rest of conversation, you have time to go through questions 6 to 10.
Now let's discuss the methodology. How do we plan to measure sleep quality?
We could use wearable devices to track their sleep duration and patterns.
That's a good start, but we should also ask participants to keep a sleep diary for subjective data.
Agreed. What about the experiment duration? I'd suggest at least 2 weeks to get consistent results.
2 weeks sounds reasonable. We'll also need to brief the participants about avoiding major lifestyle changes during this period.
And let's make sure we offer incentives for participation. Maybe gift cards?
That works. We should also have a feedback session at the end to understand any challenges they faced.
Section 4. This section features a professor delivering a lecture on the evolution of skyscraper design and its impact on urban development. The lecture includes technical terms and requires listeners to connect ideas and draw conclusions. But first you have time to go through questions 1 to 5.
Good morning, everyone. Today's lecture focuses on the evolution of skyscrapers and their role in shaping modern cities. Skyscrapers, as you know, were born out of necessity. In the late 19th century, urban areas like Chicago faced a land shortage due to rapid population growth. This scarcity of space led to the innovation of building vertically. The introduction of steel frame construction was a game changer. Unlike earlier buildings, which relied on thick walls for support, steel frames allowed architects to construct taller and more lightweight structures. The Home Insurance Building in Chicago, completed in 1885, is often considered the first skyscraper. However, skyscrapers aren't just about height. Over time, they've come to symbolize power and ambition. For example, the Empire State Building in New York was an emblem of economic optimism during the Great Depression. Similarly, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai reflects modern engineering prowess and luxury.
Before you hear the rest of conversation, you have time to go through questions 6 to 10.
Modern skyscrapers have also embraced sustainability. For example, the Age in Amsterdam, often called the world's smartest building, uses advanced technology to minimize energy consumption. Sensors adjust lighting and heating based on occupancy, and the building generates more energy than it consumes through solar panels. Furthermore, skyscrapers influence urban development by encouraging the concept of mixed-use buildings. These structures combine residential, commercial, and recreational spaces, reducing the need for long commutes. However, critics argue that skyscrapers can create social and economic divides, as luxury towers often cater to the wealthy. In conclusion, skyscrapers have transformed cities and continue to evolve. They reflect not only architectural innovation but also the aspirations and challenges of urban life.